Dr. James Davis.
Thank you, Mr Deputy Speaker. It's a privilege to follow the Honourable Member for Dudley North, and I'd like to congratulate my Honourable friend for Wellingborough for his work on this bill over considerable numbers of weeks. And I'm pleased to speak in support of this bill at this, its third reading. The government's intention to support the objectives within this bill are clear. Following an incident in 2007, a European Court of Justice ruling in 2014 directed the extension of the provisions requiring motor insurance for those using public roads to a wider range of vehicles on private land, as we've heard, and that includes in gardens, on golf courses, at motorsports events, and even in museums, potentially therefore including lawnmowers, quad bikes, golf buggies, mobility scooters and other light electric vehicles, motorsports vehicles and agricultural and construction machinery. In practice, of course, this would largely be unenforceable and would quite possibly be an unwelcome duty on the police. The House of Commons Library notes that the EU itself has now reached an agreement to reverse some of the impact of this decision, and so I'm glad ministers are supportive of efforts to truly tackle the relevant piece of inherited EU law here in Great Britain through this bill. For most, of course, the primary benefit of this bill is it will overcome a punishing rise to insurance premiums. The average motor insurance premium in the UK is already £436 per year, I believe, rising to over £1,000 for higher risk groups, Mr Deputy Speaker. In the 3 months to December 2021, there was a further 5% increase in premiums, and as life returns to normal and our road miles increase again, we hope, this may well increase further. Doing what we can to stop additional price hikes should therefore be a priority, and this bill will help to achieve that. The Government Actuarial Department has calculated that implementing the ECJ's ruling would increase motor insurance bills by up to £50 for each of the 25 million motorists in the UK as a result of their subsidising off-road insurance claims. That cost in total amounts to £1.2 billion, or in fact up to £2 billion through some estimates. And as we've heard, the Department for Transport consultation on this matter in 2016 found that 94% were against making the changes to compulsory motor insurance that would otherwise arise. Of course, in many cases there is insurance already in place to cover accidents, including employers' liability and public liability insurance, something the Honourable Member for Cardiff North, I think, was pointing out earlier. And at a time when the price of petrol and diesel costs have been rising, a further increase in the cost of running a car would be most unwelcome. This is particularly significant for many of my constituents in North Wales, for whom car ownership is often vital. Public transport provision locally is limited in many ways. Through my work as chairman of the Mersey North Wales All-Party Parliamentary Group, I'm working with honourable and right honourable members, local government representatives and officials to secure improvements in that. And Sir Peter Hendy's Union Connectivity Review has recognised the significance of upgraded rail connectivity. Even so, the improvement of public transport connections is a slow process, and Sir Peter also recognised the need to upgrade road infrastructure, including the A55. With the transition to electric vehicles, cars are here to stay, and my constituents need them to be affordable. The explanatory notes which accompany this bill acknowledge that its provisions could lead to a loss of tax revenue from insurance premium tax. By pledging their support to this bill, ministers are clear that they have the interests of motorists at the forefront of their considerations.
Would the Honourable Member declare?
I will.
Thank you very much, the Honourable Member. I wonder if he would agree with me that in addition to those savings on taxation you're talking about from the point of view of the government, also there are a large number of very large farms, for example, and businesses that have not just one vehicle that we're talking about, but probably numerous vehicles that never go on the public highway at all, and this would have a better impact, a greater impact on them.
Indeed, I thank the Honourable Lady. It's true that those with multiple vehicles stand to be punished even more so if this bill doesn't pass. So that's quite right. And Mr. Deputy Speaker, my constituent Andrew Wild wrote to me earlier this week also. His whole family are motorsport enthusiasts. In fact, he's a member of the North Wales Autographs Club, and he believes this bill will support the whole industry. He worries that without this bill, the UK motorsport sector will see insurance costs increase by over £450 million. And he goes on to say that he believes motorsport brings a lot to this country, more than simply Lewis Hamilton winning the F1 title. And he argues that this can be seen when you drive down the M40 and see the high quality companies based in our country. It provides good quality jobs, he says, and just as important, hundreds of thousands of the population with enjoyment, either participating or watching. So, Mr. Deputy Speaker, I very much share my constituents' positivity, and I'm pleased to support this bill today. Thank you.